I think it's the idea, really that's the thing that kind of moves anybody to do anything. If you don't have an idea, it's so hard to get started with anything that you're doing. Try to write a story without an idea. You sit down, sketchbook, piece of paper, the pen. I'm going to make up a story now. That's hard to do. If you don't have an idea, coming that sort of spurs the whole thing along. But for me, it's usually some shred of an idea, of a concept, or a basic sort of thing that's this small, maybe, that I can turn into a bigger idea. And sometimes for my other photography, it's where I'm traveling to that inspires that. And so there's a lot of inspiration coming into me at that point, and I can draw from it, whether it's a place or a landscape, or a group of people doing something that interests me and make me take that photograph, and then that leads to, okay, what else is going on here that I can include with this to sort of explain the context of the situation. Well, the process is, kind of what we got going on right here, which we have a camera sitting on a tripod, and then several photographs are taken of the scene, and then take that whole bunch of photographs together and bring them into Photoshop, lay them side by side, match them up as best as possible, and then sort of take the line away by just softening that edge of where the two connect with a mask, and then get them to fit together a little bit better just by sort of repositioning them and manipulating the image up and down a little bit to sort of get the lines to meet. The newer work came about with a process that was largely just kind of discovered, or an invention, that were several different ways to do things and just putting them together in different kind of aspects, connecting them in ways people wouldn't normally think of. The idea first came up with my interest in long exposure photography, time-lapse photography. And I was doing these experiments, shooting out a window of an airplane while it was taking off and landing. And at night, that was crucial, it needed to be at night, because I wanted these long exposures that weren't overexposed but had some really good color to them. But I didn't know what the colors were going to be, because they were, everything's moving by the window at 800 miles per hour. You have no idea what you're capturing over the course of 3 or 5 seconds. And I didn't really know what I had until I got back to my studio and I started looking at them. And I thought they were kind of interesting and kind of cool, but there was some sort of lack of depth to them. So I started layering them the way that I do my panoramic photographs, where I combine several photographs together that have different exposure levels. We call this high dynamic range compositions, but it was definitely away from the application of that as a practical way of applying HDR photography. What I was getting were these very abstract kind of images, and I was like, what can I do with this now that I've got these images that are abstract digital files? And then I thought, I knew of this technique that became popularized in the last few years of printing on aluminum. And so I sent these files away and had some tests done with a company that prints on aluminum, and I got them back, and I was really excited about them, and I thought, hey, this is a pretty good idea. And it worked out good too, because when you're flying in an airplane, it's a big package of aluminum that you're flying in. So I thought it was apropos to print on that. Yeah, it's sort of in this case, the image kind of pushed me to experiment and to try different things, and to take chances and go outside the lines in a sense, and that allowed me to discover something that I didn't think was going to happen and that I liked. What does art mean to me? That's a big question. It sort of changes from year to year. For me, as a visual artist, my ideas of what art is has been, from the early stages, has been through the process of making art, trying to come to terms with techniques and and processes, and that for me was, in the beginning, was really what art was about. But then later it became more about what I was saying with it and what the art was saying. And then, and so I think I'm at that point where I'm trying to get the two to work together. You know, the process, the techniques, the content, all to come together to be able to speak as far as a message that's concerned.